Hello guys. You are on the channel Alice Reddit Stories. Enjoy watching. Hi everyone, please bear with me, I'm all over the place. I've been with my boyfriend, we'll call him Jeremy, for over a year, and before yesterday I was 100% sure I wanted to marry this man. Now I'm so confused. My best friend, 24M, who we'll call David, has been my friend since elementary school, and he's gay. We tell each other absolutely everything, and he is like a brother to me. He showed up at my apartment yesterday morning, not necessarily unusual. He lives 10 minutes away and we sometimes stop by randomly at each other's places to hang out, looking really distressed. He said he was watching porn a few days ago and saw somebody who looked a lot like my boyfriend. He apologized for not telling me sooner and said he was torn because he really likes Jeremy and didn't want to cause drama in our relationship. I immediately asked him to show me, and it looked like Jeremy, but clean-shaven. Jeremy is a really big, ripped lumberjack-looking guy with a huge beard he's had the whole time we've been together. I'm not usually a fan of beards and remembered one time a couple of months into our relationship when I asked him if he would ever shave so I could see what his face looks like under it, secretly hoping he would like it and keep it clean-shaven, and remembered thinking his reaction was a little overboard. He's usually an extremely calm, rational guy, but he got really agitated and refused immediately, saying his beard was important to him. I'd have to accept this is his face, and if I couldn't do that we should stop seeing each other. Of course I dropped it because I really liked him and it didn't matter that much to me. Now I understand he was trying to hide his face to be less recognizable. At first I didn't want to believe it was Jeremy, but he has really distinctive eyes and a birthmark. After looking closely, it was clear that it was definitely him. David kept apologizing and said he thought I deserved to know. Part of me is glad he told me, but the other part of me is kind of upset with him. I almost wish he had kept it to himself. I know it's not fair, but it's how I feel. After crying a bunch, I did some more research. It turns out Jeremy was a fairly popular performer and has a ton of videos on Pornhub and other places online. His last new video was made almost 3 years before we met. After checking a few different videos to be absolutely sure it was him, I sent him a text and asked him to come to my place after work. When he came over, I asked him to sit down and asked if he was Joshua, porn name. He sat stunned for a long while before he covered his face and started sobbing. He admitted that it was him, and told me he did porn at a really low point in his life. His parents cut him out of their lives as soon as he turned 18 because he didn't agree with their ultra-conservative views. He tried to make ends meet as a server while also putting himself through college. He has mental illness which was undiagnosed at the time, bipolar, which I already knew about, and he used alcohol and eventually drugs to self-medicate. Pretty soon he was addicted to alcohol and cocaine. He dropped out of school and was about to lose his place when he answered an ad to do straight escorting. One of his clients with porn industry connections told him he could make good money in porn. He did straight porn for a bit under a different name. He told me the name, but found out he could make a lot more money in gay porn, and at the time all he cared about was making money so he could drink/do drugs. He did it for less than a year before he hit rock bottom and realized he needed to get sober and turn his life around. I was shocked. I didn't even know he had a family. He told me before that he was an orphan and grew up in foster care. Turns out he has a sister he still talks to who lives less than 20 minutes away and doesn't know anything about me. I knew he had bipolar and takes meds for it, but I didn't know about his past with addiction. He's always told me he just prefers being sober. He also admitted that he actually goes to NA meetings on Wednesday nights. He always told me Wednesdays were boys' night with his friends. I asked him if he was gay, and he said absolutely not, that he's straight as an arrow. I asked how he could have gay sex if he's straight. He said he was always a top and always worked with twinks that are more feminine men, and basically, he just tried to pretend he was having sex with a woman and think about the money/drugs he would get after. He told me he was so ashamed of that time in his life and he couldn't stop crying. He told me how sorry he was for not telling me before, that he loves me more than anything and wants to marry me someday. I asked if he would have ever told me about it if I hadn't found out. He was quiet for a long time and then said, "I don't know. I've never told anybody. I guess I just wanted it to not be true." And he started crying again. I didn't know how to respond. I just hugged him until he stopped crying and told him I did love him too, but that this was a lot to take in. He said he understood and would give me time and space to process it. This all happened last night. I don't want to talk to David because I'm still feeling upset with him even though I know none of this is his fault. I don't want to tell my other friends because I don't want them to look at him differently. Also, I worry about what might happen if someone else recognizes him. I'm entering a field where reputations are very important, and if people learned about this, it could be really bad for my career. I also have a conservative-ish family that currently loves Jeremy, but that would probably change if they found out. I'm so upset. Our relationship has been so incredible and I feel like it's all come crashing down. I believe his story and believe him when he says he loves and is attracted only to me. But how do I move forward with someone who hid so many important things from me for so long? I don't know if I will ever be able to trust him the same way. But I also love this man to pieces, and I understand that it must have been so hard for him to think about whether and how to tell me. I feel like if I stay with him, I'm always going to be worried someone will find out, and I'll have to defend him/our relationship and might lose other relationships and/or my career in the process. But I know if I break up with him, I will always be wondering what if. So what do I do, Reddit? Is it worth it to stay, or should I cut and run? D-Day was 3 weeks and 3 days ago. I caught my BF, 30M, cheating on me, 27F, with a stripper. We had been together for a little over 3 years with intentions of marrying this year. Our relationship was pretty amazing, and this situation was very out of the blue. Over the past 2 months his routines were changing, going out after work, going to a strip club, coming home with a heavy cologne smell, no sex in months, so some signs were there. On August 6th I had a suspicion. I found a burner phone when he returned home from a friend's house. I asked him who the girl was that he was using the burner phone for, and he said it was for selling cocaine. I opened the phone and there was no sight of messages, apps, photos, etc. I had been traumatized with drugs in my childhood and I had gone to therapy immediately after that situation. Eventually, I wrote a letter to him stating that I am working on healing and setting boundaries with him. Also, I allowed him to come forward with any other hidden activities, and he denied. Fast forward to August 21st. Since finding the burner phone, I had felt something was off with him. Couldn't pinpoint it, but there was this odd feeling I was sensing on August 21st. The night before, on August 20th, he was again at a friend's house. On August 21st, I came in the house from yard work and saw his phone charging in the bedroom. This was my first time doing this, but I unlocked the phone and searched. No text messages, but I did find the WhatsApp app with messages in Spanish, and he doesn't speak Spanish, between him and a woman. I didn't know what was said exactly, because I don't speak Spanish, but they were sending risky photos of each other, hearts, kissing faces. My heart dropped and I felt sick at that moment. I immediately confronted him about this when I found the messages, and he said it was a stripper he met 4 years ago. They rekindled a couple months back at the strip club and initiated hangouts at her house the 2 nights he told me he went to his friend's house. He told me they kissed once, but no sex. He told me the intention was to have sex and pay her for it. But he said he chickened out both times and didn't go through with the sex. He did say he paid her because he felt bad she took off work 2 nights at the club and nothing happened between them. Also, the burner phone was not for selling cocaine, it was actually to message the stripper. The amount of lies was terrifying. The past 3 weeks I have been in full healing mode with therapy. We have spent some time away from each other in different homes. We have spent time together, and we have talked about the situation so many times. On September 11th, I woke up and was done with the relationship. I was tired of feeling fearful, unworthy, and betrayed. I knew I deserved better, and this was not right to stay with this man. This has been a traumatizing experience for me because I saw my mother go through infidelity with my father multiple times. I know that no matter what he tells me, I will not trust him. I don't want the exhaustion of tracking him 24/7 and having the worry of him cheating again. This will always be in the back of my mind if I stayed with him. I am now on the road to recovery, even though this is hard. I am open to hearing from the community on advice on recovery, comments, or anything positive. Looking forward to my next chapter ahead. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. There are many interesting stories ahead of you.